All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So last night, Thomas Morstead ended up gifting number 5, his jersey number, back to Garrett Wilson. Now, as we all know, Garrett Wilson wore number 5 back at Ohio State, where he was ultra productive and ultimately became a top 10 pick. So it's going to be cool seeing Garrett rocking number 5. But since that tweet, there's been a ton of speculation, right? What's going on with number 17? Rumors are swirling, Davante Adams, and then lo and behold, Davante Adams went out randomly and liked that specific tweet, right? I feel like since we've gotten Rodgers, not a day in the offseason goes by without a Davante Adams like trade idea or somebody thinking about it, right? Because Rodgers and Adams are super close. The Jets really need help at wide receiver. It's essentially like win now or bust for Joe Douglas, for Robert Saleh, for Nathaniel Hackett. Obviously, Davante Adams comes in and fits the system. He's worked directly with Hackett before in the past. He could also help take some of the pressure off of Garrett. And at the end of the day, Davante Adams is arguably the best wide receiver in the game. Production year after year after year, no matter who's throwing him the football, no matter who's the head coach, no matter what team, Davante Adams finds a way to get in the end zone. Davante Adams finds a way to impact games on a consistent basis. He's amazing. Size, speed, route running, hands, red zone. He brings quickness. He brings tons of athleticism. Brings so much to the table. But with Davante Adams liking this tweet and then he ends up unliking the tweet, it has a lot of fans talking, right? Like, how realistic is a trade here? Is this going to be an avenue that the Jets pursue? And I think right now, because we have Rodgers, because there's so much pressure on the Jets front office to get wins, right, to actually get W's, and they want to put out the best team possible, yeah, I think they're going to explore it. Right, we had the report earlier in the season, I think it was some point in November or December, from Adam Schefter, literally like an hour before the game, on that, given Sunday, it was the Jets are going to be pursuing Davante Adams in the offseason, like randomly. But whenever you're talking about a potential trade, you have to factor in the other team involved, right? Which is the Las Vegas Raiders, a team, in my opinion, they had a pretty good season, all things considered, right? Their quarterback doesn't work out in Jimmy Garoppolo. Their head coach doesn't really work out in Josh McDaniels. He gets fired. But they find not only just a playable option at quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, but, somebody who really did a good job and had some big wins this season as a mid-round rookie. The interim head coach, Antonio Pierce, has fans screaming his name, has players, Max Crosby, Davante Adams, vouching for him, for the Raiders to keep him as the head coach. I mean, he's really turned the culture around there in just, a couple months? I mean, and it was not good under Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels. I mean, he really flipped that thing around pretty much immediately. Former player, hard-nosed guy. I mean, the Raiders, they beat the Jets on primetime. Antonio Pierce, I believe in his second game, they beat the Jets in Vegas. So, we have to ask the question, why would the Raiders do this, right? Whether the Raiders want to keep Antonio Pierce, whether they hire Jim Harbaugh, whatever coach they want to bring in, I don't see the Raiders completely blowing it up. In my opinion, the only way the Raiders trade Davante Adams is if Davante wants to leave. And of course, wherever Davante plays, he's going to produce. So I don't really think it's going to be a question of he's not getting the ball, he's not getting looks, or anything like that. But if maybe Davante isn't the biggest fan of the head coaching decision, maybe he could potentially want out. And then let's just assume for a second that Davante does in fact want to get traded and the Raiders are open to trading him. What does the compensation look like? Right? We don't have a second round pick this season. That's going to Green Bay. I'm not trading the 10th overall pick. So we're talking mid-round picks, 3rd, 4th, or maybe a 3 this season and then like a future 2 or something. But when we look at what the Raiders gave up to go get Davante in the first place, it was a 1 and a 2. So I don't, man, it's just like if you're a Raider fan, if you're a diehard Raider fan right now listening to this, thinking, okay, great, we can get a 3rd round pick this season, a 3rd round pick and a 4th round pick for Davante Adams this season, and a future 2nd for one of, if not the best wide receiver in the game, somebody who grew up a Raider fan, you're like, no, thank you. Like, that's not enough value. it's kind of a tough spot to be in, right? We have those two hurdles to cross. Do the Raiders want to trade him? Are they okay with that? And then number two, what are they looking for? Because one would imagine if the Raiders want to trade him, or Davante, let's just, throw it out there, request a trade, it's not like the Jets are the only team that's going to be picking up the phone and calling. There are teams out there that are highly aggressive. There are teams out there that will not shy away from making a move. They won't shy away from trading tons of assets. We've seen that, with a handful of franchises over these past couple of seasons. So a lot of hurdles to cross here, but I do think it's interesting that Davante continues to have links with Aaron Rodgers, continues to have links with the New York Jets. We just so happen to need a wide receiver. I could see the Jets aggressively pursuing it this offseason. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.